So yeah, I guess as a reference to what we were talking about earlier, just walking through the town with the bounty that everybody's currently chasing and apparently will betray each other for. It's just like a bit risky there,
Yeah,
man.
because he's already been betrayed.
Unless there is that stronger rule that once you're in the location where the guild is, no guns out.
It would certainly be harder for people to get away with it that close to Guild HQ.
Yep.
Yeah, but still, I would really be on my toes either.
It's just, to me, it's a bit risky because of that is an extremely valuable bounty. And he doesn't even have the cover on, which I find, I'm just like, man, careful, man. Like,
well, hang on. How do they? Well, they would only know it's a bounty if they're actively using the fobs to track.
Yeah, but everybody,
you could assume that. Yeah, you could assume most of the bounty hunters are trying to find him.
They all have
are off planet looking for him. Well, that's the thing. If fobs have the range limitation,
no, they're there because he walks in the bar and they're all there.
Well, they all look at him, and they know that that's the bounty that high on.
Yeah, Carl explicitly says, "I gave him to all," and he looks at everybody and says it out loud so everybody can hear.
So yeah, they would have the fobs there. You're right.
Yeah, and then at the end, when he captures it back, the fobs reactivate and everybody starts going on.
Yeah, good point.
Sorry, I'm gonna directly. Someone in the chat keeps saying that Rags and I hate this show and are trying to make everybody hate it, and that we came into it wanting to hate it, and that's our goal. Can you just
do you not remember us defending the show?
We literally said at the beginning that we really liked the first few episodes when we watched them, and we were on this show's side. So just, can you,
I thought I made a PSA. No ascribing motivations. Don't do it.
Why do you, we don't hate it and look for reasons. We see the reasons, and that's why we hate it. At least give us the benefit of the doubt that we're not trying to pull the wool over your eyes.
We went back to watch episodes 1 and 2 because we thought they were the good ones, and we wanted to affirm that, but it just didn't happen.
We rewatched all of this stuff.
I mean, there's still the better ones.
I would call episode 1 and 2 good.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
I think we argued it through, and I
wouldn't, but good. They're the best.
I think I'd call episode 1 good. Just it's hitting on the.
In actual fact, I would consider them really good when I look at it broadly with the especially production values and stuff like that. Yeah, pretty good.
We gotta keep going. We gotta keep going.
Yeah, keep going. Go.
For being very, very covert, the troopers don't seem to mind walking outside of their hidey hole. I don't know what to think of that myself.
They just walk out they just walk right out into the street with their armor. They don't have anybody to check who's not wearing armor. Seems like a really dumb thing to do.
I don't know if that's risky or not. I was just like,
unless there was something that they're worried about, and then it's passed, and then they're never fine.
But you'd still think if you wanted to send someone to check, they wouldn't be wearing stormtrooper armor.
It's not explained, but at the same time, it doesn't need to be because it's so small. It's just okay. They're out in the open now.
Well, they're trying to hide, but they do something that actively contradicts.
Well, okay.
Not a big point.
Where is it established that they are trying to hide apart from staying inside?
Why wouldn't they be trying to hide? Aren't they?
Yeah.
The
Galaxy hates them, and they're at odds with the guild.
Well, it's still an assumption. I mean, if this is a secluded planet, that they could then, and so they were inside for some reason which isn't defined, and then they're outside for another reason. And so again, it's because you could explain a reason as to that they are hiding for whatever reason, but that's the same as me trying to make up a defense for something that isn't explained in world. And so it goes both ways, I guess.
I think it makes sense in a more obvious contextual way that they would be trying to hide, because this is different to trying to sort of look at expanded universe, because this is the main saga stuff. The idea that this is the Empire's ended. They were underground. They're on some different planet. I guess you'd think that they would be a little bit more. It's not too big a deal, but it's not
a big deal. But I would be I would be certainly hiding. I would be keeping a low profile.
Mm-hmm.
Notice they don't even tell. For instance, they don't even tell Carl Weathers that they are Imperial. For him to tell people, they discover it face to face when they go to their Imperial HQ.
Someone asked,
it's not an Imperial contract. It's listed as a private client thing.
I thought Carl knew they were Imperials and he just didn't tell Mando.
He did. Yeah, Carl knew.
Yeah. Okay.
But he didn't tell people who were given the contracts that. They had to go there personally.
Mhm.
He wasn't just telling people. But again, it's a little thing. I think it's unusual. Not a big deal. We can move on.
Yeah, he says that the reason he'd given out the bounty to so many people was because he had to ensure its delivery. I just find that interesting. It's like it's a bit risky because you're sending so many people who are unaware of each other after it. That
Yeah, I would agree with that one. I would think you would actually
Get
have
a
less
big group
conflict in
meeting.
getting this target by hiring the one best bounty hunter with a higher chance, and then by hiring additional people, you're just sending people to get in his way, really.
Or you have like a big
happen.
group meeting where you're like, hey guys, so you're all going for this bounty. Just, keep an eye out for each other, okay? Don't kill each other, all right?
And
I
got
to
just chat really quickly. Someone said, I really hope they show the scene where the thermals are clearly only his scope that is thermal. No, that is wrong. Season 1, episode 5, In the Dark. I can give you a time.
Yeah, he did bring this up before.
I have the fucking screen caps in our chat of it. You're wrong if you think that only the scope has thermals. Get over it. I've got my receipts.
We need the nail in the coffin. Post a screenshot.
20. I have. They're in the chat right now.
I won't believe you, Rags, until I see it with my own eyes.
There.
Damn it.
It's right there.
You're lying.
21 minutes.
You're lying.
He sees the Zubat.
The Zubat.
He doesn't even have his rifle with him in this scene, and he's not using the scope either. So stop it. Stop it.
He says that Mandalorians are rarer than Beskar itself, which is interesting to sort of consider alongside the position of the Mandalorians in this place. Just a casual thought in relation to how secretive they need to be.
And for me, it added to the idea that Mandalorians would be very protective of their own numbers. One of them in the third episode here even comments on how we used to be numerous. Now we're hiding. There's not that many of us, So it would give the idea that they would really want to protect their numbers because there's not many of them. Carrying on.
Okay. Oh yeah, these are the things we brought up before about the Mandalorians themselves. It's weird that when he gets into a fight with the Mandalorian, he keeps like stabbing at the armor, like slashing his armor.
Yeah, he takes his knife and slashes across the chest plate. Unusual. Maybe they weren't trying to kill each other.
Maybe they were just trying to spook each other.
For instance, HEMA, when you spar in protective gear, and landing a hit is a victory. And so if they don't want to kill each other, but showing that I can actually still tag you means it's a one-up.
Yeah, I can believe it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
That makes sense because there's not many of them. They probably don't actually want to kill each other. He clearly slashes with a knife. And I'm going to be honest, Shad, it fucking bugs the shit out of me how in video games and movies, daggers are used to slash. Fucking bugs me. But yeah, this is just... yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. That's fair enough. Let me see what I have for episode 3. Oh, he doesn't lock his ship when he comes back again.
What in episode 3 when is it on?
Yeah, because Carl Weathers gets onto it.
He's on board.
Yeah.
Does Carl know how to pick a lock? I don't know.
But you'd still think that
you would assume that it would be secured and locked, and that he just was able to hack in or break the door lock or something.
Maybe, but he specifically tells Quill to initiate lockdown mode.
That's obviously an additional defense apart from just.
Yeah, but always do that.
Always.
Yeah, always.
Well, hang on. No, because you would only do that if everyone's a hostile and therefore anyone approaching it was going to get shot. What if a kid approached it? You wouldn't want that on. Well,
they would just lock down. You couldn't get in.
Well, it possibly could have been. We don't know, and that. You
want to lock it down so no one.
Did he have a droid that can hack in? Because droids can always open doors.
No, he owns the ship. He can unlock it.
Yeah, I'm talking about. Hang on, Carl. When he.
I'm talking about an episode. We might be talking about two different things. In episode 7, he specifically tells Quill to get into the ship and lock it up super tight defensive mode, right? That should be the default thing.
Well, no, because I thought that the super defensive mode implied that it's going to shoot anyone who approaches.
With what?
It has guns on the ship.
Well,
yeah, but they only point forwards.
Well, yeah. Do they have?
How is it going to shoot someone? How's the ship going to shoot itself, or people below it trying to walk in?
it's funny, right? I was kind of when I heard full defensive mode, I was kind of thinking, and this isn't shown, so I have no validity in saying this is what would have happened. Right? Is that
also someone
a gun turret would have popped up that rotated because spaceships seem to always have hidden guns everywhere. We see it on the Millennium Falcon where
we don't see it on the
suddenly
ship.
A gun just pops down from the other thing and then points at people and fires at and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that would be really useful to keep Carl Weathers off the ship later this episode, but he doesn't do it. But
Yeah,
that would have
because-
prevented him from
because,
sneaking onto the ship if he had. the
Yeah, I
defensive
know,
thing.
I know, right? But
Yeah.
Mandalorian, he and we're like, how aware was he that was going to happen when he landed the ship?
That should
because
be
he
the
doesn't
default.
Go back to it.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, no,
Like,
when he
all
landed,
of this stuff is on the
no,
ship.
because if you have automatic fire on thing, and there are families and kids in this settlement.
What, I don't know
You're
where
not
this
gonna do
automatic
that.
fire is coming from.
Well, that's the thing. Again, I don't have any
are we saying that-
justification for it, but I guess we'll have to find it. But I would almost
the idea that
expect
there is
that to
a hidden turret, a hidden automatic turret that pops out of the ship
to
and
fire on
shoot
people.
is a really assumption that's based on nothing.
You're absolutely right.
But-
I completely admit it.
yeah.
Except that we have seen it in Star Wars before on the Millennium Falcon.
And someone said you need to be in the ship for full lockdown. If that is the case, then fair enough.
Yeah.
So,
And just on my point, we have seen it before though. The Millennium Falcon does it, and a gun pops out and shoots at people. And so
but that's the Millennium Falcon, and we know it has turrets.
I know it's a stretch, but
Yeah.
like,
So
well,
I will say this
all right,
though.
here's my question: what would full lockdown do over just having it locked?
I don't
like-
know. I'm not
Wait, so
sure.
you would
I assume
concede that he
because-
should have it locked then?
Yeah, so that's my real point here is the point I'm trying to make is he should have it like locked always. Like when you leave your ship, you lock it so people can't just walk in.
Well, I thought that would be the default, and full lockdown would be something that obviously has some measure of additional defense.
Something else,
That-
like maybe
that
it only
seemed-
responds
that seemed
to a
me
manual.
that it was just implied by what full lockdown meant, and we've never seen it. And so, because we're not shown what full lockdown is and what it's capable of doing to repel people trying to get on board it, all we can assume is that it must be something better than just having the ship locked.
Sure, I can assume, yeah, like there's a difference, but I'm not ready to jump to. The difference is a hidden turret that pops up and shoots.
Well, I kind of assume that just because that's what we've seen in Star Wars previously. But if not, it obviously has to be something.
Yeah. The point is here: lock your doors.
Well, my counterpoint has always been the beginning that I assumed that it was locked.
Not people just walk on board. Like
Well,
Carl just walks on.
That's one instance, and he could have hacked on because droids can open locks.
Yeah,
all the
but
time,
that's
and
still
so it's
going
not
with stuff that there's no scene to support.
I know, but it's also
Yeah.
implied and shown many times that you can.
I don't know if it's implied that he hacks to get in. As far as I know, he just walks up to it and opens it.
Yeah, Mando's
Well,
not
yeah,
like
it
Mando's not
If
surprised
it was
that
like left
his
open, I agree, but I just can't remember it being left
In
open.
fact,
or
let me
that.
go to episode 1 here and see if he has to do something to unlock the
Like
ship.
someone just said, please moderate. What do you want me to do? Shut up, both of you. Like, no, they've got something to talk about. They can talk about it.
Yeah, I just think it's lock your ship. Use a padlock if you gotta.
We moving or are we not?
Yeah,
go for it.
All right. I think it's a tad risky of him to advertise his Beskar armor as he does in the cantina. I understand that it's obviously a deterrent to try and shoot at him because it's Beskar armor, but at the same time, it's like wearing a golden suit or something of a very valuable set piece, and I'm just like, careful.
Yeah, but would he ever not wear it? And
I mean, yeah,
Well,
he's
wearing
kind
it
of
and displaying it are different things.
You could probably
He's
cover
a
some of it with some
Mandalorian.
cloak
Like,
or poncho.
I don't know. I think part of the thing about whole Mandalorian is presenting that I'm a Mandalorian. It almost seems to be part of their religion that they like
Maybe.
I mean, I'm willing to
show
accept that. I just, if I was
Yeah,
a friend of his, I'd be
sure.
like, dude, be careful, maybe. I don't know. You don't
Yeah, and it
wanna-
would have been good to have a line or something like that, and then he's just like, "No, this is my honor," or something like that, and shut up, I'm wearing it. And it's like, oh, okay then. I mean, it's
Yeah,
funny. I have something like
maybe,
that. I
but-
have something like that in my book where the main character he has a sword that belonged to his when he was like an emperor, an evil emperor, and it's Imperius. It's this famous indestructible sword that everyone recognizes and is told like there's actually a conversation in the book saying you're not going to just walk around with that, are you? Everyone's going to recognize it. And so anyway,
And there does, and this isn't. This is just me thinking, right? At what point does a culture become so counterproductive and potentially self-destructive that you ditch it?
Or cultural ties are very
I know that, yeah, but I'm
think
curious at
almost
what
to the
point.
point of that culture's extinction if we're looking at history, I'd say.
Yeah, but still, I mean, at what point are you like, yeah, maybe this part, because like Jango Fett, he could take off his helmet without a problem. So
He
are
wasn't
there's
a Mandalorian.
I'm not discounting any reason why in
So
lore they
hang
keep
on.
their helmets on and stuff.
You know Jango
Some
wasn't a
culture-
Mandalorian. He was just wearing
Oh,
the armor.
I had no idea.
Yeah, he was not. He stole it. He was not.
Oh,
Was
well,
not
fair
a
enough.
Mandalorian. Yeah.
Yeah, well, all right, fair enough then.
Yeah, like I said, I'm mostly okay with it. It's just something to think
Yeah.
about. Is like, be careful.
It was just amusing of mine, right? Because later
Yeah,
on, we see in
I
later
agree.
episodes-
I think it would add more consistency to what this is implied by having people trying to jump him just to steal the armor because he is wearing gold essentially, like more better.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting because you have the whole "don't take your helmet off" thing, and you can't do this and can't do that, and you have to do this, and only one person up at a time, and they're clearly struggling, and a lot of people. There's a lot of unrest. Clearly, I'm wondering at what point would it take for Mandalorians to be like, yeah, maybe we could adjust this, maybe we could change this, and everyone's like, oh, Islam is like, okay, I guess there are no examples to a culture changing to fit anything. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I get you. Like, I know it happens. I know cultures are obviously very deeply ingrained. I acknowledge that. Just amusing, just a thought,
In chat, you got in the old EU, Jango and Boba were both Mandalorians in the EU, and then soon after you got Jango wasn't even a Mando in the EU. It's like,
really?
I guess chat disagrees with itself. Somebody's wrong.
My resources when I did my video on Mandalorian, I looked up the Mandalorian armor to find out what it was made out of stuff, and it was listed several times on Wikipedia that Jango and Boba were not Mandalorians. And
that's fine with me. I haven't watched Rebels.
If they aren't Mandalorians, that's fair enough. If they are, something did change, which I'm ready to accept both. I'm just bringing it up as a thought.
It could have been retconned. It could have been that they were Mandalorians at one point, and then it got retconned.
Disney retconning lore.
Who would have
thought? Oh, I thought about that.
I liked that he got reminded of Baby Yoda by going to pull the lever. I thought that was good.
I like that. The little knob on the I do like that.
I think for me, this episode was almost made by the kind of heroic arc of him saying, "No, I'm going to save this little guy's life," and that was great, and it was portrayed that the moment of decision was executed really well for me, and so I really like this episode as well. And even if it was like for a small, well, it's not a small reason. It's the whole theme of the episode, and you're like, yeah, cool, go save him.
Of all the things
I will say, go ahead.
I mean, I think your thing is probably going to be more relevant. I'm moving on.
I was going to say, in that aspect, I think it is like I think this is going back to what Fringy said earlier about having them. It feels rushed. As I said in the beginning, I'm fine with the idea of him like becoming like a father figure or a savior to Baby Yoda. I do feel with only 8 episodes and some of them having nothing to do with the plot or advancing it in any way, they kind of rush that a bit.
Yep.
I really wish we got more development on that. I really wish we got more justification for why did he choose Baby Yoda when it turns out that his actions there got all of the Mandalorians killed and caused all these problems.
A lot of them.
Hang on. Are you sure? Because I thought I was thoroughly justified when you find out that he was essentially the same as Baby Yoda. He was but the thing is,
I know why,
and he has a soft spot for foundlings. Yeah, I thought that was.
I understand why he did, but I think they should have taken more time building it up.
Show us what it was like before, like don't, it'll make it more interesting to have all this time where he's really hardened and really cold like he was in the first half of, like he was in episode 1 when I really liked him, and then build up to it, and then over time the mystery unravels and it becomes more apparent why he made that decision. Because if we hadn't seen any of the flashbacks, it would have been, and it was the end of season 1, everybody would have been like, wow, holy shit. Like, this is not something they would have expected. You know what I mean?
Chat's like, they all didn't die. Is like, okay, the survivor says some may have escaped.
Oh, no, hang on.
Be specific.
There was no guarantee that they would have died at all. He had no indication that this action was going to cause the death. So
yeah, he had to know that it was.
He actually,
no,
yeah,
he
it
said
was a
you
very
you have to move now, and his assumption was that they were going to move and be fine.
And then they just didn't.
So
move?
I know that's a plot hole that they didn't
shifting
move.
incompetence from this is shifting a problem from one person to another.
Yeah. Well, it should, because if the main character is so crucial to the story, you should, figure out what is legitimately his fault or not.
This would put him at odds with the Guild, which would really hurt the reputation of the Mandalorians, which would specifically give the Empire and the more reason to hunt Mandalorians, which I think is interesting because while they used to, it's clear that I forget his name, Werner Herzog, I forget the name. He clearly had some level of connection. He wanted to see the Mandalorians succeed in a way, but that's gone now essentially because of his betrayal.
No, hang on, because
he causes a lot of problems by doing this.
It does. I was half expecting that the other Mandalorians were going to exile him or hunt him down for
that's what I thought.
causing. But that's the thing. From his perspective, that could have been a legitimate outcome, and it just goes that it was even a greater risk and even more noble of him to risk so much to save this little guy's life, because he's risking his own, exile from his religion and people. And then, luckily for him, and I don't think this is a stretch, that it was convenient that the Mandalorians showed, no, we're loyal to our own, we're going to protect you. And then, as a result, we need to move, we'll be fine. And so it wasn't him saying screw you to his own race with the intention that now you're going to die. No, I think it was perfectly justified from his perspective.
And one of the reasons why they should have spent more time is because he has to weigh the people who saved his life, who took him in, who trained him, who raised him, his family essentially, over a creature that he just met.
Yeah, that could be a really
I
cool
get
thing,
why he did, but I think they really needed to push just the why he weighed one better than the other.
Well, for me, it was perfectly fine. I found the indecision conveyed subtly but powerfully with just his body language and the callback to the little knob thing, and then it was fully justified when we find out that he was basically the same. And so,
I feel like it's just not potent enough. I feel like all you needed to do was take longer with it and give them more, and it would have been more potent.
I feel you couldn't criticize it as an objective fault. This would be a subjective thing, and for me, it was fine.
Yeah, I don't think it's objective, but I definitely.
I think they could have done it better, though. I do think
they could have done it a whole lot better.
Yeah, I think the alternative's better.
Yeah, I
would have been happy to have maybe one or two or many scenes of just him and Baby Yoda hanging out.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you should just prolong the amount of time.
I'm not saying it wouldn't improve it, but I think the fact that Baby Yoda legitimately saved his life was enough for him to be justified in what he did. And
I'm just saying a little more flesh is all I'm after. That's all.
And I get the stuff chat's saying, I get that he sees the foundling thing in Yoda. I get it. I really get it.
We all get it. Yes,
not concepts that we have a problem with. And it's I see Mandos protect their own. Is sure, but to the point, at what point do you say,
nah, we gotta cut you loose.
This is gonna ruin everything for everybody.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Stop.
Personally, I'm not a fan of how they protected him, despite him majorly breaking rules. What he did.
Hang on. He didn't. Hey guys, he didn't break Mandalorian rules.
I didn't say that.
Rules. In actual fact, it seemed like he was obeying the Mandalorian creed, because it's already established that Mandalorians protect younglings, foundlings.
So surely that causes them problems a lot in the bounty hunting business.
It probably does then. But how often would bounties come up for babies? So I wouldn't say.
Children, right? Foundlings are children. So how often do bounties come up for children? Probably enough.
The Star Wars context, and I think you could even expand this to the expanded universe. I think this is the first one ever portrayed in Star Wars, and so maybe there is a rule that bounties are not done on children. I don't know, because this is 50 years old, so it's
why did he ever take it?
It's a way to get around the rule that this isn't a child; it's 50 years old. But in actual fact, it is, because the species.
Yeah, my thing is that. When does will you go is the life of Mando worth all of the stress and the trouble and the danger that comes along to everybody else to protect him. Like I'm curious how far they will go.
It's actually to protect Baby Yoda. And honestly, it makes me like the Mandalorian Creed even more that they would risk the lives of their entire clan to save one child. That's like, that's awesome. You guys are boss. I think that's
they're
cool.
really boss. Yeah.
If we were to reach a core issue, it's just they were really crazy to not have left as soon as possible, and I don't believe they would have lost to an army of stormtroopers.
Of course,
like even 100 stormtroopers, I feel like they would have annihilated them.
Yeah, I agree completely. The true criticism happens after this is that they don't leave and then they get wiped out and they're so tough. And it's like, what? How did that happen? Come on.
I was going to say next up is Mando is just doing a little detective work, spying, and he manages to extract the necessary material and be done with it. Hurry, I can't guarantee your safety. Basically, he catches a line that's explicit about Yoda is gonna be killed soon. Like, of all the things he could have heard, which would be including and not limited to toilet sounds or people just breathing or just nothing.
Do you remember, Mola, do you remember that episode of Community where they're telling Halloween stories and then Abed says, he turns on the radio.
Thinking of that exact thing.
He turns on the radio and they're listening to music for a while. It's like, well, they're not going to turn it on exactly when the important update is. And then they skip the update. And it's like, according to the update we just heard, but not just heard.
Yeah.
I love Community, and you're absolutely right. I love that. Yeah. And you're right. Like, if I was, say, writing this, I would have had to I would have
put a little bit more meat on it.
He was there, standing for a while, doing reconnaissance.
Yeah. You don't need it.
Yeah, it's an easy fix.
He's already interested in saving Baby Yoda, and he already knows that they're going to do something to him that's not good. Like, he doesn't need this motive. Like, he doesn't need to hear them say, we're going to kill Baby Yoda. It's just like, no, just go get him. I know we all know you want to get him.
He can see people through walls. I'm curious. There's a lot of things they could have done to fix what is very clearly a super contrivance.
Well, I wouldn't say it's obviously contrivance. I would class something as super contrivance if it was crucial to the plot to progress forward, and this isn't. This is just a thing.
I guess it confirms something he already did. So that's I mean, going by odds, it is like super lucky.
Yeah, it's just unlikely. Yep. That's all. What else we got?
Let's see. What do we got?
So he's blasting through. I mean, there was the classic stormtroopers missing, and like even for me, that's the stormtrooper was so close that they still missed. And then of course it hits the armor as well. But then he does act tough and take him out other ones in like cool, tough ways. And so it's a mixed bag overall.
There's times in this fight, I thought the fights were really tismy. There are times where stormtroopers clearly should have shot him, but they didn't. Mm-hmm. And also he opens a door and instantly gets shot, luckily right in the shoulder.
What was that? It's clearly so we don't feel bad when he kills all of them, you dummy. It's like, I don't think we would have really cared either way.
I wouldn't have felt too bad about the stormtroopers getting killed.
Stormtroopers, yeah.
I didn't need any extra motivation to be like, not too bad stormtroopers die. But I do think that, and I don't count this against the show because I can't count against the show because it wasn't something that wasn't in there I thought could be better moving on. But I would have been really, really curious, and I kind of wished, and I was hoping, and I think it would have been better if they spent time and gave us something about stormtroopers that makes me go, why are they still stormtroopers, right? Like, the Empire has collapsed. The Empire is very, very weak. These guys clearly are not well supplied. Their armor isn't maintained, and yet still here they are. Why are they here? Why do they still wear the armor? Why didn't they chuck the armor away and go live a normal life? How come they're still going through this? Is it because they need money? Is it because they have an ideological reason for it? I think it could have been interesting to explore the mind of what happens to stormtroopers after the collapse of the Empire and what they choose to do.
I agree, actually. I find it interesting that stormtroopers are still so loyal after the fall of the Empire. I mean, brainwashing or something. Yeah,
exactly.
So he's like annihilating everybody in this place, and I found it really weird that he walks into a room that's empty, a door opens, and he sees two troopers approaching him. He just chooses not to shoot them, and like this goes on for a little bit, and then people turn up behind him, and he's like, okay guys, I give up. And then he's going to use his new gadget that he got earlier, But it just struck me as odd. It's like, why wouldn't he just shoot them? Why didn't he just shoot them as soon as that door opened?
There's a lot of those in this episode. We see it in later episodes, and we highlight it where if you would have just shot the person here, it would have been done. This happens a lot in later episodes where they just don't.
He's got the drop on him too, and I just don't get it.
Yeah, and
they get to have their little 10-second
it's a flaw, but we know why it's there. They just wanted to, like, I know it's not excuse it, but it's to show the whistling birds. Look, he used a cool thing.
Oh, I was referring to I was referring to an earlier part, but yeah, in those two, it's like when enemies pop up on your screen, you shoot them.
Check the shop.
What else we got?
So up to now, I'm not seeing massive like episode breaking flaws. There are flaws, but they're small and they don't ruin the enjoyment for it overall, I find.
I mean, I wouldn't call what we've highlighted small, but the thing is, the things that we've got to highlight to come are so enormous that I wouldn't really care to call these.
Okay,
I wouldn't care if you call these small or not.
Okay, I gotta address the chat. So is it Rag is complaining that the troopers are slower to shoot than Mando is silly? Fucker, that is not what I said.
That is not what you said.
There are clearly times when stormtroopers have him right in front of him, and Mando's not even facing him, and they just don't take the shot. I am not complaining that troopers are slower than Mando. You extrapolating what I said to that's a problem on you. I do not expect stormtroopers to be able to one-on-one beat Mando. This is ridiculous. This is the stuff we need to avoid. Carry on, though.
I guess it's kind of like it's interesting. I feel a level of empathy for Carl Weathers being like, I got you this job, you completed it, you got loads of money, I did too. Now you're like fucking it all up for everybody, and then he like has, from Carl Weathers' point of view, it's like, wow, and your team of Mandalorians kill like all of my bounty guild. Like, it's like,
yeah, I mean, think about it from the perspective that Mando completed the bounty, got paid, and made his fucking armor, and then he's like, "Lol, nah, I'm gonna go get."
Wait, hang on. This isn't a criticism against the plot of the episode.
Oh, it's a criticism against Mando.
I agree, he's fully justified in being ticked off, but it doesn't mean that Mando wasn't justified in what he was doing. Okay, good.
That actually can be it could be turned into a criticism by the time you hit episode 8, where Mando is like, Carl Weathers, did you kill the Mandalorians? He's like really pissed at him, and it's like, motherfucker, maybe he did.
Dude,
what if he did? What if he did? You killed all of his men after you betrayed him. Like, it really frustrated me.
You got paid as well. You got paid, you accepted the payment, and then you betrayed him. So yeah, what if he did?
It's such a weird, like, moral grandstand. It's like, you did that to me.
It honestly reminds me of Batwoman, that part. You know,
yeah,
where it's just like...
Well, there is a distinction in that the bounty hunters are not on the same moral level as the Mandalorians, because they're willing to, kidnap children off to be executed by whoever's paying them. And so, I mean, even the fact that Mandalorian betrays the bounty hunter guilds isn't a bad thing.
Is a bounty hunter culpable for the bad things that they do on behalf of their clients?
Well, they should be. If you're willing to do evil for just getting paid, that is
well, you're not doing it. You're just doing what they want
you're facilitating it. You're carrying
okay, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not sure that I disagree. It's just an interesting little
and I also
bounty hunters aren't morally good people unless they have like a stance that they won't do, like kidnap babies to be executed.
Well, no, I mean,
there's one.
Bounty hunting is a neutral profession that can go either way based on
what you I would agree there, and perhaps it's based on. But anyone who is then willing to try and take the Baby Yoda bounty and carry it through is by definition evil. Because that's
I would say that is definitely a moral flaw. One thing I will say though, I guess if we're talking about it, even though you could say that Mando is not like directly in the most personal way responsible for the deaths of the Mandalorians, I would expect him to have like it on his conscience in some way.
Yeah. I agree. I think that that should be a good point of conflict, that he might blame himself somewhat. He didn't know it would happen, and the Mandalorian should have left a long time before. But I agree.
It would be interesting for as we go on, whenever he looks at Baby Yoda, he sees the faces of all the Mandalorians who died because of stuff that he did and the results of things.
This would have been a great season 3 plot point.
the thing is, it can easily be justified that the Mandalorians could have a creed that you do not mourn those that die in fulfilling the creed, and so it could be something. And so, there are a lot of ways to spin it. In all honesty,
I feel like they won't though. That's the problem. I feel like they're not going to do this.
And someone said, "What? They didn't shoot him. The stormtroopers didn't shoot him on spot when they surrounded him because he still had Baby Yoda in his arms." I'm not referring to that. I'm referring to something that happened beforehand, where a stormtrooper
But also,
comes in right behind him, and just doesn't.
German man at this point doesn't even really give a shit at this point if he gets killed. Remember, German man doesn't care about Baby Yoda being alive anymore.
But true. But do the stormtroopers know that? And they're probably not privy to all the progress of things, and all they knew is that this is a valuable thing that this bounty hunter was told to get, and now is trying to steal it. And even if they knew that much, I don't know. And he does sell, he tells them, "What I'm holding is valuable." And that might have been enough. So
yeah, at that point, I definitely believe why they wouldn't shoot him.
Mm-hmm.
The ones in the back, maybe not so much, but still, I totally get it. It's not a problem. I don't have any problem with that scene. I'm referring to earlier on before he gets Baby Yoda.
You know, I just checked the script. So after he says, "I order you to extract the necessary material and be done with it," he follows up with saying he has explicitly ordered us to bring it back alive. Is that Moff Gideon they're referring to? The guy who fires at them with a TIE fighter when they're holding Baby Yoda?
I can't remember.
Because, man...
Yeah, because in Episode 8, oh, look, they've got Baby Yoda that I need, and I'm just gonna pew-pew shoot him with...
but also, the bounty hunter who was trying to kill Mando in Episode 5 would have blown up the ship.
Not to mention the IG unit as well. Apparently he was supposed to kill Baby Yoda, but Moff Gideon wants it alive.
Oh, no! It's falling apart again.
I lost track of the conversation, sorry.
I gotta use the loo anyway, so I'll be right back.
Oh, well, so, the Werner Herzog says, extract what you need and be done with it. It says he wants the specimen alive, or something like that.
Which referring to the higher up, the guy in the TIE fighter, yeah.
We assume Gideon, yeah, because he seems to answer to Gideon. Which is interesting, because the IG unit was told to kill it definitively.
Yeah.
And obviously
that's a contradiction.
The bounty hunter in Episode 5 would obviously, if it destroyed Mando's ship, Baby Yoda's gonna be floating around. Just like, oh, maybe it could Leia. It could do the Leia thing. Yeah, and even Werner Herzog said that you could do it dead or alive, so I'm just confused.
That means we're up to Episode 4 now, right?
I think
so.
It's
interesting. It's very interesting what Moff wants at the end, because he still wants Yoda, but then they've extracted what they needed, have they? Or what? Or maybe they have extracted what they needed, but it's useful to have more, so having the original source.
The only other thing was, it's surprising how many of them have the jetpack, and yet all of them aren't allowed to leave that place more than one at a time. And he doesn't have a jetpack, and he's the one who's bounty hunting. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I get, apparently you have to earn it, I guess. Does she mention that? I don't really know.
Yeah, there's nothing, it is strange for me there's only one out at a time, because kind of be useful to have more. You guys are tough. Are they staying there to protect it? But that didn't seem to work out for them, did it? So I don't know. It's not explained.
Alright, and yeah, I'm happy to move on to Episode 4.
Yeah, here we go. Here's the good stuff.
Here we go.
We should wait for Rags for this one.
Oh no, yeah, he will want to be here, I'm sure. I think, this has been an adventure. Just putting it out there already. It's 5 hours.
Well, I don't. Oh gosh, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to stay for the whole episodes. But who else are you going to have to try and defend this thing?
I suppose we will have to be very calm and just state our criticisms, and then people may make of them what they will, as opposed to saying they are definitive flaws.
Drinker, he didn't mind it. He said it was flawed, but overall he enjoyed it enough. So I don't know. Maybe it'll still be too late if you could get him on board.
Well, yeah. The other problem is that we do actually need to round it off eventually to make sure we can get.
I know, and I'm not going to be able to come back for a while to finish it off.
That is all right.
Oh no.
We will have you back the moment we can.
So, well, we can still talk about some things, the fight at the end where he jumps behind the the ship, and suddenly the ship, it can block all blaster bolts, and it's just made out of trashy. Well, I assume it must be made out of Durasteel. Like Durasteel is the common type of steel everything's made out of. Because my goodness, that stuff gives him full protection for a good while. And as to how much cover he has, I think he has a decent amount. It was good that he was jumping into cover, so that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he disintegrates a few of them, that certainly would scare off, and not like as like. And I wonder how exceptional his pulse rifle is, because people are surprised by it, yet they're also familiar with it, because the girl lady in episode 4, she's like, "Give me the pulse rifle," so she's familiar with that kind of thing. Yet we've never seen anything like that in Star Wars before, have we? Because that's a full-on disintegration gun.
Yeah, I assume they drew that out of Vader saying to Boba, "No disintegrations." Like,
does he? I missed that.
Yeah, because he said he wants the bounties alive, so I just assumed that that's where they were like, hey, that means bounty hunters or Mandalorians have disintegration capabilities.
Cool. You know, now that I think of it, while Rags is away, I should go to the toilet as well, or do you have to wait until he comes back? So
No, go for it.
So you're pretty good. I'll be back in a sec.
Mm-hmm. We're on the cusp of episode 4, finally.
Yeah, I know, it's exciting, because this is when it just deteriorates completely.
Did a poopy in his panty hole.
I guess for the reference for how it was when we were watching the show, by episode 4, I was still on the show's side, even though episode 3 was...
I got very frustrated with 4. I felt insulted. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, 4 was... Yeah, and I wasn't the only one. I think most people seem to agree that 4 was really bad. Like, 4...
I've seen people saying 4 and 5 are the weakest ones, and then 6 is really good, the Bill Burr one, which will be interesting if we can talk about it.
I don't really like 6 either.
No, I don't either.
I mean, 4 and 5 are the low point, I would say, yeah. And then I guess it picks back up a bit in episode 7, but then it kind of falls back down again.
There's a comment in chat. I don't even want to watch the shows the way that Bowler and Rags do. I'm amazed they like anything.
I guess you're new to the channel.
Yeah, we do. So we like stuff that makes sense a lot of the time. I like plenty of stuff that doesn't make sense. The way we try and figure this stuff out is that sometimes, whether I like a thing or not, I have to acknowledge that there is a flaw within it, and vice versa. I might hate something a lot, but I have to recognize that it's particularly well made. And that's what these discussions are for, to try and explore whether or not something was well made or not.
Yeah.
For example, a pretty easy one is just Lord of the Rings. I'm pretty sure all 4 of us here think that Lord of the Rings is incredible, and
yep.
The writing is staggeringly strong.
Yep.
But there's a lot of stuff.
Well, I mean, a good example of that, it's good, but I don't... this isn't for me, because I love this movie, but the common example of this is good, but I don't like it is Blade Runner. Blade Runner,
Citizen Kane.
Whether or not you find it boring.
People say it about 2001, people say it about...
Yeah, people say it about a lot of really good movies, but they are good, whether or not you like them, right? And then conversely, Venom. I like Venom, but it's bad. It's really bad.
Are we still on episode 3?
Well, we're
about to go to episode 4.
We're on to episode 4. We were waiting for you, but Shanda decided to go to the toilet as well, so... And then we were explaining to chat that, no, we don't in fact hate everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's just that these were the best episodes, and they have a bunch of little problems, and all of these little problems adds up. Some of these I wouldn't call little problems, like, for instance, him not using thermal vision directly results into him almost getting killed, and he has to be saved by Baby Yoda. Like, that's not a little thing. Like, those are the things that stack up, and it only gets worse from here.
Would you say it ruins the episode, though? That the episode is still fully enjoyable?
That kind of stuff, it certainly adds to the pile for me. That's the kind of stuff that ruins it for me, or adds to ruining it for me. I can't unsee it. Like, it's not stuff that I can't see. But subjective, I just can't not see that stuff.
And I get that. I mean,
but the thing is, I definitely see why people like this, which is why people who do like it, like, I don't have a hatred for Mandalorian as a show. I just think it's bad. I don't I have a hatred for The Last Jedi. You know,
What I find
hate it.
interesting, is that I think there are things that I've criticized in, say, Rise of Skywalker and Jedi, and some of them were on, like, they were, you could say, are as small as some of the things I'm defending in this one. And the difference is, I think, is that there was enough good in Mandalorian to help me just. And I admit, like the thermal thing, that's a legitimate problem, and I don't think there is a real valid defense for it, except for making up something that he didn't have it beforehand, which isn't valid because there's nothing saying it. And so that's completely valid, but I can ignore, I am willing to ignore it. I think that's the difference. I acknowledge it, but I'm willing to ignore it because there's enough good for me to enjoy. When there's no good for me to enjoy or barely anything, I'm not going to ignore anything because it doesn't deserve it. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's plenty of bad stuff that we see, that we like, but like subjective stuff that's the thing about subjectivity, and that's why we treat it differently from objectivity. Like it's not subjectivity isn't consistent. You know, it's a weird kind of thing.
Yeah,
I just can't not see stuff like I do.
Yeah, my contention is that there is a decent amount of objectively good things in The Mandalorian to make it good overall. Generally, not in every episode, don't get me wrong, but especially with the episodes we've covered so far, to me, I think those are mostly good episodes. There's problems, but
I mean, I don't know. I would say a lot of your defenses were a lot of inferences. Lots of extrapolations.
I agree. Some were more based, like there were some that were actually based on what is implied in the story, and some were completely more kind of leaps. I fully admit that. But the ones that are based on things you can actually point towards have more validity as defense.